Hello dear students and welcome to our English class. Today's lesson is writing an article describing a place part 2. You will need your student book page 43 and your workbook from page 35 to 37. In today's lesson we have three objectives. 1. Identify key features of a descriptive article through analyzing a model. 2. Organize ideas by completing a plan. And 3. Compose an article describing a place after brainstorming ideas. As this lesson is a continuation to the previous one, let's try to remember what was the previous lesson about. Pause the video and think. Let's share answers. Excellent! The previous lesson was about writing an article describing a place. Very good. Now, read the announcement and answer the questions. The first question, what are you going to write? Second one, who will read it? Third one, what is the purpose of your writing? And the last question, what style are you going to use? Now pause the video, read the announcement and answer the questions. Let's share answers. What are you going to write? Very good. We're going to write an article. Now, who will read it? Excellent. The users of the website, and the website is wordsites.com. Third question. What is the purpose of your writing? To describe a place, and the evidence is in the announcement itself. Very good. Now the last question, what style are you going to use? Of course, we're going to use the semi-formal style since we are going to write an article to a website. Read the tip in your student book, page 43, and highlight examples in the text. When writing an article describing a place, you want to catch the reader's attention and interest. You should use a catchy title. You should also write about a place you are familiar with. Also, you have to think about the purpose of the article and who will read it in order to write an appropriate style. You should also organize the article in paragraphs. Besides, use the present simple to describe the place and the past simple to talk about its history. You should also use lively, colorful language. Now pause the video for a while and highlight examples of these in the text. Let's check your answers. Using a catchy title. Excellent. For example, discover the amazing Baladna Park. Write about a place you are familiar with. In this case, we are talking about Baladna Park. Think about the purpose and who is going to read the article, and the appropriate style here is going to be semi-formal. Very good. Now you should organize the article in paragraphs. As you see here, we have paragraph number 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3, and paragraph 4. You should use the present simple to describe the place. For example, here I have is and is while describing the place in the second paragraph. You should also use the past simple to talk about its history. You have, for example, went, spent, and was. You must use lively, colorful language. For instance, unforgettable, massive, interesting, and amazing. Now go to the workbook, page 35, to plan and write your article. While planning, think of an interesting or catchy title. Your article should contain an introduction in which you give some general information about the place and refer to what makes the place so interesting. The main part of your article can contain 1 or 2 paragraphs in which you describe the place and give your impression or describe your feelings. The conclusion, you sum up your opinion and say whether you recommend visiting the place. Here is the plan in your workbook, page 35. Pause the video and complete it. Let's share answers and see what ideas you have brainstormed for your article. So what title are you going to give your article? Very good, yes. It could be Souq Waqif Top Choice Market in Doha. Now in the introduction, you're going to introduce the place, and it's obvious from the title that we are going to talk about Souq Waqif. And what is this place well known for? Very good. Souq Waqif is a meeting point for both locals and tourists. In the main part, you need to notice that you have to cover three main areas. The first one, what do you know about its history? The second, what sites or attractions are there and what do you know about them? And finally, what can you do there? So let's share the first area. Excellent. You can talk about its history, which began about a century ago. The souk was used by both the locals and Bedouins who bought and sold their products there. As the years passed by, people stopped using it as they preferred malls and other shopping places, but in 2006 its restoration started, and today Souq Waqif looks like a traditional 19th century souk. Now, while talking about the history, don't forget to use a specific tense. What is it? Excellent. It's the past simple tense, like for example, began, was, bought, sold, passed by, stopped, preferred, started. So the past simple tense is used to talk about the place's history. Now in the second part, you're going to talk about the sites and attractions. So you can say, for instance, you can find shops selling almost everything from traditional clothes and bags to jewelry and sweets. Now, the activities or what can you do there? You can say, for instance, you can buy some spices from one of the spices shops, and visitors have lunch at one of the many restaurants and taste a variety of dishes. Again here, don't forget that while describing the place, you have to use a specific tense. Can you remember what is it? Excellent. It's the present simple tense. For example, can buy and have lunch. So the present simple tense is used to describe the place. Now we reach the last part of your article, the conclusion. What is your general opinion about the place? Yes, you can say, I think Souq Waqif is worth visiting. Now, why do you think it's worth visiting? You should visit Souq Waqif to enjoy the variety of sites and attractions. Now that you have brainstormed ideas and your plan is ready, all you have to do, dear students, is to develop your ideas into coherent paragraphs and start writing. Dear students, make sure that you consider all these points while you are writing. To write an article describing a place, you should think about the purpose, the audience, and the style. You should also organize the article in paragraphs, use the present simple to describe the place, and use the past simple to talk about the place's history. To make your article more interesting, you should use a catchy title and use lively, colorful adjectives to enrich description. Our article is ready and we need to make sure that we follow the plan. So to make my article more interesting, I need to use a catchy title. And here it is, Souq Waqif, Top Choice Market in Doha. In the first paragraph, which is the introduction, I'm going to introduce the name of the place, which is Souq Waqif, and refer to what the place is known for. Here it is a well-known meeting point for both locals and tourists, and it offers a variety of things to see and do. In paragraph 2, I'm going to talk about the place's history, and don't forget that I have to use the past simple tense. So, its history began about a century ago, and I can give more details. In paragraph 3, I will describe the sites, the attractions, and the activities. And don't forget here, while describing the place, I need to use the present simple tense. I can describe places like the shops selling almost everything from traditional clothes and bags to jewelry and sweets. Also, you can't leave Suq Waqif without buying some spices from one of the spice shops. Moreover, you can have lunch at one of its many restaurants and taste a variety of dishes. In paragraph 4, which is the conclusion, I'm going to give a general opinion about the place. So I can say, for instance, I think Suq Waqif is definitely worth visiting. Then I recommend visiting the place. So I say, for example, so why not plan a trip there and see for yourself? Checking time, my dear students. After writing the article, my dear students, move to your workbook, page 37, read through the checklist, and tick the points you have achieved, then evaluate your work. Let's start with following instructions. I read the rubric and the announcement I am responding to carefully. I checked that I understood why I was writing the article. I thought about who will read the article and made sure I wrote in an appropriate way for this audience. I learned as much as I could about the location by carrying out independent research using the internet. The format? I organized my text into paragraphs, including an introduction and a conclusion, and included a title to capture the reader's interest. I followed the suggestions in the plan for what to include in the different paragraphs of the article. The content? I used the present simple to describe the place now. I used the past simple to talk about its history. I used a variety of adjectives, adverbs, and phrases or expressions to make my article interesting and enjoyable for the reader. I included at least one example of an exclamation mark and a direct or indirect question. Review. I corrected any grammar, spelling, and punctuation errors. I made sure that my writing can be read easily. Now here are the evaluation criteria. Read through them and evaluate your work. Thank you, my dear students, for being outstanding during this session.